Hello, I'm Jim Caton, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications at Bowdoin, and I'd like to welcome you to a new series we're debuting this fall, Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Polar Bear Athletic Fund. Our first guest for this series is our new head football coach, J.B. Wells. Coach Wells, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Let me start off. You've been on the job since January, for about 9 months now. What has the transition been like for you, both professionally and personally, over the course of the 9 months?
It's been great. I think the best part about the transition has been it's been a pretty easy transition for my family in terms of my kids kind of getting acclimated to new schools and new friends. That's actually gone a lot better than I actually anticipated with 2 teenage daughters and a 11-year-old son.
You came to us from Endicott, so you spent the last 13 years there, where you were the first and only coach in program history. Talk a little bit about what it was like to build a program from scratch there.
Yeah, the process of building a program, I haven't found it too different in terms of what needs to happen to build a program, whether it's inheriting a program that's already been established or starting one from scratch. Obviously, starting one from scratch, there was more. You needed to order footballs. You needed to order helmets. We didn't have any players. We didn't have any coaches. So from that standpoint, that was kind of the daunting part of it, was just that the big picture seemed so much bigger because there wasn't anything already there. Mm-hmm. But I think the elements of starting a program and building a program are kind of the same thing. You know, you're setting in philosophies and culture that you hope are going to bear fruit over a long period of time. So the process back in 2002 at Endicott or the process in 2015 here at Bowdoin were almost remarkably the same. It's just that I think I have more experience going into this job than I did at the last job, with kind of knowing what to expect, what was coming down the pike, and things that you can't prepare to be a head coach until you're a head coach. Those things I already been through, so it made the transition here a little bit easier than maybe the transition then.
Talk a little bit about what the preseason's been like for you so far, last couple of weeks.
Long. I mean, that was the biggest adjustment for me was, we're getting ready to play our first game. Last year I was getting ready to play my third game. So, the clock in my head is going off that we should have been ready to play a game 3 weeks ago. And we didn't have to be ready to play a game 3 weeks ago, which is good in the first year because we had a lot of work to do. We're kind of into more of a game week rhythm right from the beginning here in camp, rather than all of a sudden having things shift dramatically within game week or shift dramatically in week 2, where classes start. Here, it's just kind of your normal pace, and practice schedule isn't much different from preseason to in-season.
So you mentioned a little bit about game week. So now, literally, we are in game week,
right.
For coming up on Saturday against Williams here at Whittier Field. Take us into the Bowdoin football offices this week. What's the process from Monday through Saturday morning?
Right. Well, we give the players Sundays as a day off. So this week we did give them Sunday as a day off. The only responsibilities they have is to check in with the athletic training staff. Mondays for us, we do wear pads. We go out in what we call pro pads, which is helmet and shoulder pads and shorts. And we get about a 60 to 90 minute workout in with the guys, kind of sinking in initial game plan thoughts for the week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for us are your traditional, what you would think of as football practice. 2 hours and 15 minutes on the field, game plan specific, situationally specific things that we're working on those 2 days. Because by the time the game plan's in on Wednesday, we're really not going to make very many changes. Thursday for us is a little bit different than some other programs. Thursday for us is a down day. The guys will lift weights in the morning, but then in the afternoon, instead of going out for a traditional Thursday practice, which at many places is again in pro pads, we make that more of a walkthrough day. It's a game plan day to put the final touches on things in terms of knowledge about what to expect. So we've done the physical work. Now we just kind of put the mental polish on it by doing a short walkthrough and then coming into the classroom, and the coordinators really taking the team through their steps on every phase of the game, every situation that we could possibly see. Friday for us then is a run-through, not a walkthrough. We'll go out early in the morning, again in our pro pads, and we'll run through the game plan. So I think it's important that they get 2 days out from the game. They get as much rest and recovery as they can. The day before the game, get them moving and get their central nervous system kind of spiked up, so that on Saturday we still have the maximum amount of rest, maximum amount of preparation.
Obviously, not having seen this team in action completely yet in a game, what things do you feel good about heading into the season?
I feel pretty good about our guys' grasp of the schemes and what we're asking them to do. I don't think that there's a lot of question marks about what we're doing. I think they pick that up very, very quickly. They hear something once, they retain that, and then it's just a matter of getting physical repetitions on those things to make sure that that muscle memory connection is made. So I'm happy with that. I think that that's the biggest thing, is that schematically, I think they know exactly what we're asking them, which is half the battle.
You've been on campus for 9 months. You know, you found yourself on, a campus that has one of the best dining services in the country. I know football coaches consider themselves connoisseurs in sort of that particular area when it comes to food. What's your go-to dining hall? What's your go-to on-campus meal?
Well, you can't beat the lobster bake. That's pretty good. And, but I'm a breakfast guy, so go-to for breakfast for us and the staff has been going to Molten, and my favorite thing is either waffles or pancakes with the main blueberry sauce. I think you can't beat that. That's pretty much good 7 days a week. I eat that every meal.
Sounds like a great go-to. Great. Thank you very much, Coach.
No problem, Jim.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Joining us.
You bet.
Thank you very much for joining us for our first Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Polar Bear Athletic Fund. For all of the latest in Bowdoin athletics, visit Bowdoin on the web at www.goubears.com.